Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I'm a firm believer in that, but you've got to know when you've done enough planning and when to move forward and to take a leap of faith, which is the real trick there. But I want to give you a couple examples of prior planning and why it's so important, and then I'm going to share some secret sauce with you, or what you think is some secret sauce. I have tomorrow, Monday, some oral surgery. And normally, on Monday mornings, I go ahead and I record these podcasts. They're not queued up for months in advance. I just figure out what's going on, and then I do a short podcast as you've come to listen to. So what I decided was, I don't know how I'm going to be as far as that oral surgery goes and whether I'll be able to talk like I normally talk. So it is Sunday afternoon, and I decided I would go ahead and record this podcast now. I also moved a couple of morning appointments to the afternoon. Hope I'll be able to talk my way through those, but I'm sure I am going to be able to. So I did some planning ahead of time based on the circumstances. And one of the things that happens in our group coaching, and there are 3 openings in group coaching if you're interested, just brucewhipple.com/group coaching, is that I ask everybody to do a weekly report. I give them a couple formats that they can use, but if they fail to submit a weekly report by 5 p.m. the day before the group coaching call, 1 strike and you're out. And there's so many people that have ended up, because circumstances arose, to miss that, get thrown out. There are no exceptions to that. It doesn't matter what the reason is. So a lot of people have decided that they're going to submit the weekly reports the day before. Makes sense to me. If you do it consistently a day before, you won't run into that situation. And I'm also a lot of times asked about, well, what magic phrases? I did a Facebook Live this past week, and there was a guy there that said, do you know the 25 phrases that Dan refers to, and can you tell me those? And I said, no, I don't. I'm sure if Dan and I wrote a list that there would be a lot of things in common. But for me, scripts oftentimes sound like they're scripts, and I'm much more interested in not giving your pitch, giving the magic phrases that you think are there, but entering into a conversation. And that requires you to ask a lot of questions. So in terms of the prior planning prevents piss poor performance, when you're talking to a big hitter, when you're talking to accountants and lawyers, when you're talking to a person or persons thinking about selling the business after you've contacted them, write down the questions. Get what's important to them. The more that you can enter into a conversation, the better you'll be. But I'll give you an example of some of the phrases that can be used if you weave them into a conversation. And I did a top 10 objections, and I just want to give you an example of one of those. Most of the people doing QLA are young, don't have any money, don't have much, if any, business experience. And as a result of that, they often hear from the big hitters, well, why would I do anything with you? You probably don't have any money, you don't have any business experience, so why would I? Now, the typical answer to that is, no one's going to work harder, nobody is going to not quit like me, and that's usually said by people right before that they don't work hard and they do quit. So that's one way to answer it. But another way to answer it is to say, you're absolutely right. I don't have a lot of capital, I don't have a lot of business experience, but you know what? I do understand that. That I have going for me. And that's why I'm surrounding myself with people who have been there, done that, and that's candidly why I'm talking to you. So you've not only given that person a compliment, but you've also answered it in a way that's truthful. And so oftentimes the response back to that is, well, that's smart. I wish I was that smart when I was your age. It would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of money. So looking for the absolute canned answers, I think is oftentimes a mistake. It's better to understand and plan ahead for some of the things you'll run into. And then that was just an example that I gave you. You will run into that. What are you going to do different than everybody else? You will run into that as well. So think about those. And you don't have to have a canned answer to that, but you ought to have an explanation that you can give that resonates with someone. Okay, so if you want to know the secret sauce, here it is. Most of the people, if not all, the people that succeed have either a good self-image or built a good self-image. How do you do that? By a series of successes. And if you consistently do that, you consistently manage your self-talk, use your affirmations, and increase your self-image, you're going to be amazed at how your results change. I have a mentee who talked to 80 accounting firms about discounted and deferred fees. He got no's from all of them. We tweaked a couple of things. He changed his attitude. He stopped talking as much and he went to asking questions. And in the following week, he ended up with 2 accounting firms that gave him the deal he wanted. That's not that crazy. If you analyze the situation, if you know the mistakes you've made and why you've made them, and then have someone you can talk to say, what would I do in this situation? You're going to improve as you go, and you'd be surprised how quickly that can happen. So self-image is at the root of most people's success. The other is follow the steps. Don't jump ahead. Everybody wants to jump ahead to a deal, but do the hard work. Build a dream team. Get your professionals on board. And then lastly, the secret sauce, part 2, is those that stay focused the longest and work the hardest win. It's as simple as that. So just some thoughts today, some thoughts on prior planning, some thoughts on ways to improve your self-image. If you haven't, read Release Your Brakes, but follow the steps and then work your ass off. And that really is the secret sauce. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments or ideas for future episodes, please email bruce@brucewhipple.com. And if you're not already on our mailing list, head over to brucewhipple.com and sign up and grab any of the free reports. That'll put you on the mailing list. There is a lot of free information you can use to acquire already profitable businesses. This is Bruce Whipple. Thanks for listening to the Business Acquisition Podcast. And remember, you miss 100% of the opportunities you fail to take. And procrastination truly is the thief of time. So do something today, please. Your future self will be proud of you.